Hello, I'm David Judson, Editor-in-Chief of Stratfor. With me today is Robert D. Kaplan, our Chief Geopolitical Analyst. Today, I wanted to talk about the killing of James Foley. This morning, you've got a piece out, Terrorism as Theater, which looks at this as kind of a seminal event at the confluence of technology and media and terror. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yes. It's more than just a horrific, tragic, gruesome killing, David. It's an act of theater that manipulates symbols. We see the victim in an orange jumpsuit reminiscent of the prisoners the United States holds at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, which is to show that this is the Islamic State saying we of the Islamic State are a real state and we hold enemy combatants as prisoners too. And here we're going to show you how we deal with them. The executioner is clad dramatically in black. He speaks with a British accent. So he is, in a sense, saying to the world, just because we are capable of anything and will stop at nothing does not mean that we are unsophisticated. We are very sophisticated. We can speak in a British accent and still behead somebody. We're also going to behead him. Now, if you want your victim to suffer or to experience deep pain, there are other ways to kill him. You can torture him, you can burn him alive, but beheading is the most appropriate way of killing someone if you want to have something if you want to show it on video in a very sensationalist manner, because you can show the severed head separate from the body. So beheading works for video in this sense. I don't mean to be cruel or vulgar or insensitive in any way, David. I'm just trying to analyze this event. And so this is really terrorism as theater, in the sense that these people of the so-called Islamic State are saying, we will stop at nothing. We have no constraints. We have a meta message for the world. We have enemy combatants. Here is how we deal with them. Are you in the West capable of dealing with us?
Well, I think that the brutality is just ghastly, and even today there have been 160 executions by IS. But somehow these affect us cognitively, whereas this kind of theater, as you call it, affects us emotionally, and it takes us to a new level of volatility in terms of what terrorists are trying to do. Now, obviously, it's not new. We take the examples of the killing of the Tsar and his family in 1918 and the meta-messaging behind that, or the royal family in Iraq that was killed in 1956. But so what has changed in terms of past efforts at this kind of theater as to what we witnessed?
All right. First of all, welcome, David, to the mass media age. The mass media age is not just insipid anchormen and rude talk show hosts interrupting talking heads. It's also sensationalism, exhibitionism of the most ghastly sort. The media age allows this kind of thing to happen. Now, in 1918, under Lenin and Stalin's orders, the Tsar was not only executed, but the whole royal family, meaning the children, the Tsar's wife, and a servant. In other words, this was a seminal act of violence because it demonstrated that if these Bolsheviks were capable of killing women, children, and a servant, they were capable of murder en masse. And in fact, they proved that in the ensuing decades. In 1958, the Iraqi king, Faisal II, was executed along with his family. And his prime minister, Nuri Saeed, was executed, buried, dug up, and then his dead body was mutilated. This was another seminal violent event which presaged decades of increasing totalitarian rule, culminating in that of Saddam Hussein. So what I'm arguing in this piece is that the Foley murder could be a seminal event, a seminal act of violence of the mass media age.
Leads me to a question that it's both disturbing and provocative, and that's that, here we are in a studio talking about this. You've written about this. We soon will have uploaded this video to YouTube. Are we, in some sense, inadvertently completing the task that the terrorists intended?
What choice do we have? To remain silent might be worse. It might have no effect. As long as we're human beings and we have some moral sensibility, we're going to react deeply and emotionally to something like this.
Yeah, chilling, disturbing, and very much a reality. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Robert.